The cell was silent, a stark contrast to the grandeur of her past. She was a queen who once reveled in the glow of 1,000 lights. Yet, within that oppressive silence, a darker presence lurked. It was an unseen force, constantly watching, relentlessly pursuing her, patiently waiting for Marie Antoinette's final vestiges of strength to crumble. Her descent into oblivion didn't begin with the sharp, cold kiss of the guillotine's blade. It began much earlier, confined within the unforgiving embrace of a stone chamber, a place where the world had decided she was no longer worthy of dignity. Marie Antoinette sat perched on a simple wooden stool, her spine ramrod straight, her hands icy cold. The air was thick with the scent of damp stone and the metallic taps of old iron. Every few moments, a single drop of water would detach from the ceiling, its echo reverberating through the small space like a stark, ticking clock. Beyond her door, the soldiers murmured her name, not with the respect a queen was due, but with a chilling undercurrent of perverse satisfaction, savoring the grim fate that awaited her. Just months prior, she had reigned as the Queen of France. Now, the guards addressed her only as Widow Capet, a calculated act of stripping her of every title, every cherished memory, every fleeting dream. Her opulent gowns and jewels were cruelly confiscated, replaced with coarse, drab cloth that chafed her skin. But their malice didn't end there. Every morning, the guards would barge into her cell, foregoing even the pretense of a knock. Their intent was clear: to shatter her indomitable spirit. They invaded her space with brazen audacity, acting as if they had a right to her person, her physical autonomy, and even her silence. She was denied the basic human decency of closing her door to wash or dress. They subjected her to constant surveillance, like predators, patiently stalking a wounded animal, waiting for it to finally cease its resistance. When she dared to request a moment of privacy, they responded with mocking laughter. When she succumbed to tears, they reveled in her despair with cruel smiles. Their objective was to diminish her, to make her feel utterly insignificant and utterly forgotten. At night, Marie would often reach out to touch the rough, cold walls of her prison. She whispered her thoughts to them, clinging to the desperate hope that they could somehow hear her better than any living soul left in the world. She reminisced about her husband, Louis XVI, who had been executed just months before. She mourned her children, forcibly torn from her loving embrace. Her son, too young to comprehend the gravity of the situation, was coerced into betraying her, forced to parrot scripted lies fabricated by her enemies. That act of betrayal wounded her far more deeply than any physical confinement ever could. Her mind was a cacophony of turmoil, yet her cell remained eerily quiet. A queen, swallowed whole by stone. The true torment, however, began with the arrival of the interrogators. They didn't engage in mere questioning. They launched relentless assaults on her character. They leveled accusations of crimes so heinous that even the hardened revolutionaries present in the room shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Their goal was to obliterate her spirit long before they extinguished her life. One particularly vile accusation was so cruel, so unnatural, that history books often attempt to sanitize it. They claimed she had corrupted her own son, a calculated move designed to incite boundless hatred towards her among the masses. For a fleeting moment, Marie Antoinette's breath caught in her throat. Her hands trembled uncontrollably. Her eyes, which had grown dull with sorrow, ignited with a fiery intensity that even the callous guards hadn't anticipated. She fixed her gaze upon her accuser and delivered one of the most enduring and powerful lines of her life. "I appeal to all mothers." And for a moment, the room fell completely silent. For the first time, some eyes averted, a flicker of shame betraying their even her most ardent enemies felt a fleeting shadow of guilt. But that moment of defiant power was ultimately futile. Nothing could save her now. In the days leading up to her execution, Marie's physical and mental health deteriorated rapidly. She suffered significant weight loss, relentless insomnia, and a profound sense of hopelessness that clung to her like a shroud. Her hair turned almost entirely white, a striking transformation that astonished even her jailers. Some attributed it to sheer terror. Others believed it was the cumulative shock of witnessing the devastation that had befallen her family. But Marie knew the truth. She had aged decades in a matter of mere months. On her final night, she was denied the comfort of warm blankets or the solace of gentle prayers. She lay upon a crude straw mattress, utterly alone, with heavy chains binding her ankles. The guards roused her before dawn, their flickering torches casting long, grotesque shadows across the cold, damp walls. They provided her with a simple, unadorned white dress, the dress of a victim, not a queen. No jewelry. No crown, no final farewell. Her hands trembled as she fastened the back of the dress. She knew that every stitch would soon be irrevocably stained by the moment the blade descended. The journey to the guillotine was agonizingly slow and deliberately humiliating. Instead of the dignity of a closed carriage, a right befitting a queen, Marie was placed in an open cart, typically reserved for common criminals. A jeering mob followed her through the streets of Paris, hurling insults, laughing with cruel glee, and pointing with accusatory fingers. Some threw stones, others spat upon her. They sought to ensure her humiliation was absolute. She offered no response. Her eyes remained fixed forward, calm and distant, as if she were already halfway to another realm. The guards whispered amongst themselves that she resembled a ghost. Perhaps she was. Upon reaching the execution platform, Marie Antoinette stumbled slightly. The guards seized her arms roughly. She quickly apologized to the executioner for inadvertently stepping on his foot. "Pardon me, monsieur," she sighed. "I did not do it on purpose." Even in the face of imminent death, she remembered her manners. The crowd erupted in laughter, oblivious to the fact that this would be her final utterance. The executioner bound her hands tightly. The rough ropes bit into her delicate skin. Marie inhaled sharply but forced herself to suppress any outward display of emotion. The blade, suspended high above her, gleamed ominously in the sunlight. Cold, bright, and hungry. Slowly, she knelt. The wood beneath her smelled of blood and old metal. The world began to fade into silence. Her heartbeat slowed. Her breath trembled. The sky above seemed impossibly distant. Then, without warning, the blade fell. A single, swift, and brutal sound. A flash of silver. A breath abruptly severed. The crowd roared its approval. But the silence within the Queen's world was finally complete. History often portrays Marie Antoinette as dying because she was hated. But her final days reveal a far more sinister truth. She died because breaking her spirit was deemed more valuable than merely ending her life. They needed her to suffer. They needed her to be humiliated, and emptied of all dignity, so that her death would serve as a chilling symbol, not a mere tragedy. But ultimately, the sheer cruelty of her final days exposed the very truth that her enemies so desperately feared. Even when stripped of her crown, her family and her future, Marie Antoinette never surrendered her final inviolable piece of power, her humanity. And sometimes, in history's darkest moments, that is the one thing that even the most ruthless tyrants cannot extinguish. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please consider subscribing for more journeys into the fascinating and often tragic pages of history. We'll see you in the next one.